Good morning and welcome to Face to Face. Yours truly, Nesta Cann. Today we have a special guest in the studio with us. He goes by the name of Anthony Worrell, aka Ra. How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing well.
What's new? What you been up to?
Well, I've been surveying the place, and seeing what is really needed and wanted. So I've been gearing myself up to deliver. That's what I'm focusing on now. So kind of excited about our future.
Okay. So you're a life-changing specialist. Tell us more about that.
Basically, I'm able to, using some very cutting-edge technologies and so on that I've studied, I'm able to cause very significant change in people's life experience. If a person is, say, going south, like things are going bad and so on, I have knowledge and certain kind of processes of a mental or spiritual nature to that would actually reverse that in a relatively short period of time, relative to what, let's say, psychologists or other types of people would do. I can do in a much shorter period of time. Yes.
Okay. Cool. Education. I see you're a professional teacher.
Yeah, I've taught. I've been in the public schools for about 8 years. That's some time ago, and I also tutored at several Brooklyn colleges within the City University of New York. That's at Medgar College,
Okay.
BMCC. That's the Borough of Manhattan Community College, and I also did do some work with Brooklyn College. Where I'm an adjunct. So yes, I do that, and I also do special coaching in the area of study. I did some advanced studies and training in how to study,
Nice.
how to learn just about anything with confidence, so that you can actually apply what you've learned, and I also offer coaching in that area.
Oh wow. Okay. So are you still like tutoring? Are you still active?
Not in tutoring as such. Tutoring is another a word for teaching, and like one-on-one kind of scenario. I don't do that so much, but I do now. They call it coaching. I'm not called a study coach, where I would help students to learn, use study. So I actually immerse them in the correct way of studying. So they will come to me. It's almost like a one-on-one situation, and I would actually find out, what kind of difficulties they're having,
Right.
and I would apply the solution to that. Actually, like live, as as we're going through some material, we have the material that is having difficulty with, and go through, have them apply the correct study techniques and so on to learn what is on, let's say, in that material. And so I'm actually not teaching them as such. I'm actually applying the technology to them, and they can actually, by being asked to use the technology, I'm guiding them on how to use the technology and so on and so forth. They actually can learn the correct way of study.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So let's talk about fitness. I see that you're a personal trainer.
Yes.
Are you personally training any celebrities? LeBron James, Floyd Mayweather? Let us know a little bit more about that.
I've not done that, but I'm pretty certain that if some of these top athletes were aware of what I could do, that they probably want to would want to use me to help them to prepare, especially like really competitive sports or competitive athletes, professionals and so on. If they actually knew what I could do, because a lot of them now are actually going to sports psychologists and so on and so forth.
Right.
And the things that I know again, as I said, from extensive and intensive study in mind and so on, that I could actually do perhaps a better job
Right.
than better job than most sports psychologists. Because, as I said, the technology that I'm using is actually cutting edge, whereas a lot of what sports psychologists use is more traditional, et cetera, et cetera.
Nice.
And that's a little slower and so on. And what I use is actually a little faster, and it's more to the point, of what cause a person to actually perform much better, right? So yes, I was saying if they knew what I would probably work with them. I've not worked with them professionals yet, but I'm pretty certain that that's going to happen
Right.
pretty soon. So I mainly work with them now. I actually work with a lot of businnesmen, and I go to their homes and I would work with them to keep their fitness up. Actually, my presence actually helps them to control their eating habits, and to also make sure they're doing some degree of exercise so that they don't lose it. Because they spend a lot of time in offices and in their office and travel, et cetera, et cetera. So when they do get a chance to, to be away from the office and so on, I always try to get some sessions in, and I would do that, and keep them more or less from losing themselves, so to speak, into work and all those other activities.
I see you bought some goodies over here, some products.
Yeah.
Tell us more about these, since we're talking about health and these things and fitness.
Yeah. I brought here basically two brands. This is the XS brand and the Nutrilite brand. The XS is merely a sports brand. It's actually relatively new. This is it's only a couple of about 3-4 months it came on the market, but was developed by a company that's been around for more than 60 years.
Okay.
All right.
Is that some good stuff?
Yes. The thing about these brands, the XS and the Nutrilite brand, is that they're very clean. All right. They're effective. So they have all the most workable and effective ingredients.
Okay.
All right. And they do not have any ingredients that may be harmful. There are a lot of products, health products, so-called health products, and sports products that are effective, but they would have 1 or 2 ingredients that may harm a fairly significant number of individuals. Not everybody necessarily, but some people would actually have a bad reaction to some of the ingredients in some of these other brands.
Okay.
This brand basically is, I think, it's very, very clean. There are no ingredients that would have
Any side effects? No.
Very, very no.
Approved by the FDA.
Everything is approved, and people who are involved in competitive sports where they do drug testing and that kind of stuff can use the XS sports brand without any concerns, because they're formulated so that they will meet the standards set for the anti-drug in sports. All right, so this is very very clean, and they're not say endorsed, but they
And people you train, they use this
yes,
as well.
yes,
Okay.
yeah.
And
So
where can you get this from? Like GNC?
No, you can. You have to basically purchase this directly from the companies that make these. The Nutrilite brand is actually under, like you said, Amway, which is
Okay, yeah, I've heard of Amway.
the largest of.
Are you a part of Amway?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, it's the largest direct sales company using they call it multi-level marketing kind of thing.
Right.
Arrangement in the world is the largest, and the Nutrilite brand is actually the brand that sells most money, generating in terms of money and so on. It sells more than any other brand. It's globally. And the XS is, as I said, it's a relatively new brand, but it's developed through Amway, which has been around for many years, and as I said, it's number one in its field of supplements and so on.
Great.
So the standard is very, very high. It's very high standard.
Nice,
you
nice.
know. And my motto is only the best is good enough.
Mm.
And so this is a basic reason why I've actually selected this brand and this company, because this company is the best in its field. It's number one, right?
Right.
And its products are basically like the top of the line. And it fits into my motto, it's only the best is good enough. And I found that just about almost every organization I get involved with and so on and so forth is either number one or number two in its field.
Are you vegan?
I'm vegetarian, but I'm not as strict as
Well,
vegan.
can you tell us the difference? Because a lot of people don't know the difference between vegan and vegetarian.
Okay. Probably the simplest way to put it is that the vegan is the type of vegetarian who does not eat any kind of animal and any products derived from animals. All right. The other vegetarians that may actually include fish and some other other things, some products that derive from let's say cheese and so on, the milk of cows or from other animals and so on. But a vegan then would not use any product that comes
So they're just strict, no fish, no nothing.
Right, very, very strict, yes.
Okay.
I think my brother actually is a vegan.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm just vegetarian. I would eat some fish.
Okay.
Right? Yeah.
All right. So you've achieved a lot in your career. Tell us some of the achievements that you've achieved in your...
Most of my achievements, I would say, are like more or less kind of personal. I call it on the what I have done, like for myself, so to speak. And I'm very proud of being a teacher. The success that I've had, because I've actually, when I was a tutor at one point, I actually was like tutor of the year, and I always demonstrate an excellence even as a tutor. So I'm kind of proud of being a teacher. Above the ordinary. My students would often say that what I was doing is like, it's just like, it's magical. How did you get me to understand that? Everybody else, I could never understand this, and in such a short time you got me to understand this. So I've had students who were like, wow, it's like magic, So kind of freaking out, So that I'm very proud of that I could actually make an impact. I think one of the best things that ever happened was that like a student said, it was a summer school, those students who were failing, I was doing a summer school program, helping them to qualify to go into the regular class and go forward. And I had a student said she is a girl, and she said she wants to be like me, and that was a very good compliment that she wants to be like me. I also, for a time, I also did, I was a responder for a crisis hotline. I'm very proud of the work I used to do there. So there were people who would call in and they would be in crisis. Some people want to commit suicide, some people feel that they're going to kill somebody, and that kind of stuff. And some people were like, feel as if they were going crazy or whatever. And the call would come in, and people would contact me, and then I would go out to these people who were in crisis, and I would actually
save their lives.
Bring them out of that. Yes.
Oh. So did you get trained for that, or was
yes? As part of the training that I've done. I actually was called a volunteer minister. So I did a course of study that involved about 16 different areas of life. There's certain areas of life that people often have some kind of difficulty. And I was trained how to do some basic solutions, basic theory and solutions for handling these areas of life. People in relationships, people may have issues with communication, people have issues with they're having conflicts and they don't know how to resolve conflicts or how to detect where it's coming from. There are also areas of being able to evaluate people, how to carry out investigations when things are going wrong and so on, how to do, also in study, some people may have confusions, but you can also resolve those. Because sometimes if you have a confusion, you have a problem. And sometimes just sorting out confusions, just sorting out concepts, just getting people to, some people are operating on with wrong concepts,
Right.
all right, wrong understanding of certain ideas, and you just clarify the idea, and the person all of a sudden his head is clear, and the person can make proper decisions. So yes, I did some studies for a lot of different areas, so I could actually go out where people are having problems. I could actually go and almost immediately turn things around, and I've helped people who were, I say, suicidal. In actual fact, I became kind of famous because I had actually helped a guy who was threatening homicide. He wanted to kill his his girlfriend,
Wow.
and he was also going to kill himself. And his world was really dark. And in 2 hours, I met him, and in 2 hours I did a drill with him. So it's not always like giving advice. I actually take a person mentally through a process.
Wow.
And in about 2 hours working with him, I saw, because his face looked kind of ashy, and he was like so sad, and so he just looked like the cloud was all over him. And in 2 hours, the cloud, I saw it literally, his face just light up.
Right.
Yeah. So something just left him, and his face appeared brighter. And he asked me, "What did you do to me?
Sure.
What did you do?" I said, I didn't really going to explain anything. I said, "You feeling better?" He said, yeah. And so he was like, "What happened?" I said, "I just left him, this depression." And so I'm very proud of that. Very, very proud of that.
Do you still keep in contact with these people, or no?
I actually,
or is it something that you just help them and you?
I help them, and basically, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, but I have to get in touch with this guy. The guy was still around. He didn't, he was still around.
Yeah, so I'm wondering, like, did they get back into the? Sometimes people could slip back
Yes.
into,
But the thing about a lot of what I do is that it's virtually permanent. It's so deep and fundamental that it's when it happens in that particular area, it doesn't really go back.
Okay.
In that area, you're kind of handled in that area.
Okay.
Because it's a new knowledge, a new experience that you can't really lose. Like, it's very hard to lose that. So you're okay in that area, in that particular specific area. So it doesn't repeat in that area. Yeah.
Also, I see you're into Scientology. Let us know a little bit more about that, if you can talk about it, because I know some people who are into, Scientology and not able to talk about certain things. So let us know a little bit more about Scientology.
Yeah, part of the reason why we don't really get into talking very deeply about Scientology is because it's actually the way it is set up and the way things are done is that...
is it a religion?
It is a religion officially.
Okay.
Yes. It's recognized in the United States and recognized in many advanced societies, all right, our countries that are like European countries and so on, as officially as it's a religion.
Okay.
And part of the reason why we don't really get into much discussion of Scientology is because that's by policy we're not supposed to do that. What we're actually supposed to do is to, let's say, if you're asking me about Scientology, I would just go to the scripture itself or to the book, right? That actually describes, let's say, what Scientology is. But what I would say though is that it's basically knowing how to know, because the word Scientology, break it down, it's kind of from words that basically mean knowledge,
right?
And yes, it's like study of knowledge. It's like really knowing how to know. But if one wants to know more about Scientology and so on, I want to basically go to there's a website now. They not have the website, Scientology.org, or you can there's also Scientology Network.
Yeah, I've been driving around and I've been hearing on the radio they've like commercials now, so it's like, wow, this thing's getting pretty big.
Right.
I only heard about Scientology because of Tom Cruise and John Travolta.
Yeah.
A couple of celebrities. They were into the religion.
Yes, and they benefited tremendously. And when you do study, you're honestly study the materials and so on, and you start to apply, especially if you get the processing aspect of it. It really causes a major upsurge in your your abilities, your enjoyment of life, etc., etc. So they have enjoyed that for many, many years. You notice too that they tend to be quite youthful, lively, and seem to be very excited about life and so on and so forth. And that's it's not unique to them, but people who within Scientology who actually do the processing and do studies and so on, they're very lively. Yeah, right? They're very enthusiastic about life and so on. So, and that's a normal result of the study and the processing in Scientology. That's what happens normally.
I've seen you on the internet have like some machine where you have the training someone holding a machine.
Yeah.
What was that about? I don't know what it was.
Okay.
Really, it was kind of interesting.
Yes, in Scientology, it's kind of unique to Scientology. They have the artifact, which is called an E-meter.
Okay.
Right, and that meter is used in processing and even in education.
Okay.
To basically monitor, right, what is going on in the person mind, not in terms of specifics, but whether or not how his emotions are changing as you're going through the process, and also to somebody you can detect areas of stress, right? Anything that's bothering an individual, he's onto that, and you say if a person's having a very bad relationship with a spouse or something like that, and you were to, well, the person's on the machine or connected with it, and you ask, says the name, if you were to say the name of the spouse, then you get a certain reaction. You can tell that there's something, we call it charge.
So it's like a lie detector test almost?
It's similar technology, but it's a simpler, more accurate
so
form
it's
of that.
It's pretty accurate then.
Yes, and quite often a lie detector, a person normally when he gets into a lie detector is doing it. It's being done, asked to do that. It's almost he's being forced to do it. People normally when they go onto the e-meter, they go in there voluntarily, and with the intention of having the person operating the meter actually be able to detect whatever is there. So he's not being forced to do that. People normally, because that's a big difference.
Yeah, they're right.
Right? He's not being forced to, he's doing that willingly. And when that's happened, a person, when you're doing things with a person who wills, what you're doing, then you get very, very good results.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's your background? Yeah.
I'm originally from the West Indies and from Barbados.
Oh, my family's in Barbados.
Yeah.
246 in the house.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
That's good. That's good.
All right. So.
And so I attended college. We call it college, the University of the West Indies.
Okay.
That's where I graduated in literature, linguistics, and sociology. But I always had a very strong. I was gonna say always. But from very, very early, I had a very strong interest in philosophy, philosophic analysis and that kind of stuff. And people recognized that. My dad recognized it. He encouraged me, bought me, at the time, very expensive books, actually. I had a dictionary of philosophy, and then another book that was an introduction to philosophy by a guy with a similar name, Anthony Worrell. And he was very thorough. And I pursued that. My parents allowed me freedom to pursue philosophy, like personally. Even when I was in school, doing all the regular maths, English, all that kind of stuff, I was still heavily into them because around 12 years old, so I was into philosophy from that time, that early. None of my peers was involved in that, so it was always weird to them because I was so heavily into philosophy and so on. But my teachers used to appreciate the fact that at a very young age, I was somehow I had this ability to understand and to philosophy or the fundamentals of certain things and to be curious about that. And they used to allow me a lot of freedoms. Actually, sometimes I would be in class studying or reading philosophy books.
Mm.
And my teachers wouldn't particularly, they didn't really bother me that much. There's something that allowed me to do that, because I would still pass the exams, the other kinds of tests, geography, whatever, history, whatever the case may be. I would still pass those tests. And so it was quite often just allow me to do my thing, because I used to have very good conversations with them after class or before class and so on. And they very mature, and they were almost like peers, on that level. So they used to appreciate that. It never gave me any hassles and so on, because I used to sometimes be studying philosophy instead of studying the regular stuff.
Did you play any sports growing up, anything like that?
Yes.
Any activities?
Yeah,
in Barbados?
almost all. I played soccer, some basketball, some cricket, because the West Indies, cricket is a big sport. And I did track and field.
Right.
I was pretty successful.
Usain Bolt kind of talent?
Probably in a way, not in the sprints necessarily, but I was more like high jump, long jump, and I could also run distance.
Mm-hmm.
So I probably my body type, I was able to train it and do pretty well with jumping, running, even sprints and longer. So I probably could have been more like a 10 event thing, called pentathlete or something. But along the way, so I actually held, as a youngster, I held record in the long jump, and I had the second highest high jump from in my school. I represented my school.
Okay.
And nationally.
And does that record still hold today?
I didn't double check. I haven't checked. But at the time, when records normally are broken, usually,
right.
So I think that's my first times actually being in the paper, because I won valedictorian because I was the most successful athlete that they meet, and so they had a picture of me actually doing the long jump.
Mm.
So I didn't even turn up in the newspaper, and that was kind of exciting. I also played chess. I was a competitive chess player.
Were you good?
I was pretty good, yes. I won.
Bobby Fischer?
I probably could have become, if I continued, very good. Because some people actually had me, expected me at some point to become national champion, chess champion in Barbados.
Okay.
What happened was, okay, so I was in chess, and I won trophies. I was unbeaten at one point in the tournament, so I won a trophy for that. And my team also won the trophy. My school won the trophy as champions. And then at some point I switched into, a friend of mine went away to Canada. He came back, and he was doing gymnastics and acrobatic skills and so on. And I said, whoa, that's challenging, because I like to a challenge,
Right.
If things come a little very easy to me, because of I had a thought in my mind that it wasn't worth doing if it was really easy,
Mm-hmm.
So almost everything I would do would be very easy. I would have success really easily, Some people say that I'm a natural, so whatever I do, I tend to do very well freely. So I would switch. Things got really easy, Let's switch. Find something more challenging.
Right.
I saw gymnastics and so on, and so whoa, that looks,
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I have to train it. I want to do this thing, and even though it came easy in a way, it was always humbling, because I noticed that every time if I were not disciplined, I would make a mistake and I would feel some pain. It would hurt, and that would always humble me. So it kept me honest. The gymnastics kept me pretty honest in acrobatics,
right.
Because every time I lost some concentration or lost a little discipline or something, a mistake would occur, and there was some physical discomfort, some pain, and that would always keep me honest. And I would. So I did I got very good at that also. Very good at gymnastics and so on. I think up to today, I'm over 50 years old.
Oh wow, you're 50.
Yeah,
over 50.
Yeah, over. And a lot of people always assume, if I don't say what they always
Yeah.
assume I'm a youngster. I
Yeah.
have guys that I'm older than refer to me as a youngster,
Youngster, right?
right?
So look at you're in your 30s.
Right. And they always, so I don't, quite often I don't say my age unless I'm asked. Because there's some people I've come across who are kind of bragging about, they think they look really good and so on, some guys and so on. And they're bragging about how good they look and so on.
Right.
And they would tell me, okay, they're about 40 something or 50 or whatever. I'm older, so sometimes I don't say, you know. But if someone asks me direct, it's happened sometime recently, someone asked me direct, after he was bragging about how good he looks and so on.
Mm-hmm.
And he asked me, so how old are you? And I said, I give him my age, and I was about a couple of years older than him.
Right.
And he became so quiet, you know, because before he was really lively, he thought, oh, how nice he looking. He used to do bodybuilding, competing, that kind
Is he fit as well?
of. Compared with me, no.
No.
Right? And he became so quiet after I told him my age. You know, he was not talking about himself like that anymore and so on. So I don't normally volunteer my age.
Right.
Especially when people are bragging about how good they look and so on, because it often is a downer to find out that, you know,
Right.
this guy, you know. So I think a lot of it came from the intensity that I've exercised
Right.
through like acrobatics, especially gymnastics and acrobatic exercises. And
In the way you live. As
the
far
way I
as
live,
how you
yeah,
help,
I make sure to
Do you drink? Do you smoke?
no, don't smoke, don't drink.
You know, take a little puff here and there, a
No.
little swig of this swig.
No. Because one of the things about, I believe in the promotion of life.
Okay.
Right? And those things that you just mentioned, drinking and so on and so forth, is actually a socially accepted way of committing suicide, a socially accepted way of harming yourself, and people just accept it. It's very ironic that when people are celebrating when you're feeling most happy and so on, that you actually would drink and do things that would actually undermine your health.
Right.
It's a very interesting
I guess people don't think about it like that, and people just, I mean, people know that drinking and smoking is not good, but, you know, I guess you hang out, you say, some people say, I'll just have a little drink, you know, with
Yes.
friends, casual drinking, you know,
Yes.
smoking in there. So, but I guess when you really look into it, you're like, wow, this thing's doing damage after a period of time.
Yes.
You know, so.
Yeah. But it's socially acceptable, so
Yeah.
people don't really, don't really
People
object.
say, oh, it's not going to hurt. Do a little once in a while.
Yeah.
Then a little once in a while becomes more
Yeah.
often, and you know, you're drinking and you're smoking like almost every day.
Yeah.
Or 3 times a week, maybe.
Yeah. I understand how it happens, you know, because at some point there's a pleasure sensation
Yeah.
connected to the drinking.
Or
to the
some
smoking,
people,
yeah.
they're shy, or they can't really open up naturally.
Mm-hmm.
So when they drink or they smoke, it helps them to feel a little bit more loose.
Yes.
And then get a little bit more open. So some people
Yes.
do it for that too.
Yeah.
Or some people they do it for, you know, they're depressed when they go into, you know, depression, or
Yeah.
they're upset or in a bad mood, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So people have the reasons why they drink or smoke.
Oh yeah, I mean, people have their reasons,
Right.
but it doesn't change the effect of the thing on you,
Right.
basically. You
Yeah.
know? So, but that's part of what I do. I actually can help people to overcome the shyness, or if they're depressed, can pull them out of that without the use of,
use of
of
drugs.
drugs and that kind of stuff. Yeah, because what those things basically make it more difficult to come out of it in final analysis. It makes you more susceptible to the thing. So let's say you use it now, you become deadened to some extent, so you don't feel the emotional discomfort and so on and so forth. Or if some people are in physical pain, it's something they use drugs to reduce the sensation of pain and so on, physical pain.
Right.
But when those things wear off, then it can come back, even
Yeah.
with more intensity. So that's basically what happens. Is this makes you more susceptible to the thing, a more intense experience of that thing, the pain or the emotional pain, physical pain, or whatever it is, or the mental anguish or whatever. It just makes you more susceptible.
Yeah.
They're pretty naturally. The brain or the mind is actually designed to heal the body, or to handle whatever. All right. So that's basically what I do, is to use the person's mind
Right.
to help them through the fears, help them through the pains and that kind of stuff.
What's your IQ Because you say you play chess and you're into mind and these kind of things. Have you ever tested your IQ before?
Yes. Actually, one of the things that happens in Scientology is that if you're doing processing and that kind of stuff, is that you have a regular check of your IQ.
And what's considered a high IQ? To let people know, for the people out there watching.
A high IQ would be anything, second high IQ is 120 and going up. It's like considered high.
Right. Most people's IQ is what? Like
a lot of people would be just over 100.
Over 100 is regular, right?
Just over 100,
Just over 100, okay.
Yeah.
And
so we start getting high.
that's like genius, maybe.
No,
past 120?
Genius then would be generally like a 140.
Oh, wow.
140 up, right? Again, depending on the type of IQ test you're doing. But, so it can vary, all right? So depending on the IQ type of IQ test, they would have upper range and lower range within that. But the one that I normally use is very accurate one. It uses the scale where a 140 or so would be like going into genius, 140 something going into genius, and 130s and so on, 125, 30 going up in there would be bright. Then you go down to 110, 111, around that area would be considered average, or just slightly above average. And just below, like 100 and so on, like what most people in the United States would be. So I'm considered by number and so on. I'd be considered bright. Bright.
Okay.
I can, actual fact, that was very, because I mean, even before I did my IQ and test and that kind of stuff, people used to say that I was bright. So tell me that I was bright, I'm like, wow, he's. And then when I did that, and I realized that on that scale of that IQ thing, that told me that this thing is pretty accurate because people were experiencing me as a bright guy. And then when I did the test and the scores came out, it showed that on that scale within that testing, that system, that I would be considered bright. So and that's how you actually can tell whether a thing is, if an IQ test is actually pretty accurate, because the world around you will reflect it, reflect the accuracy of it.
Okay. Before we wrap it up, I just want to ask you one more last question. What's your purpose in life? What goals are you trying to achieve?
Basically,
or accomplish?
For myself, I just want to achieve what I imagine is my personal best. And I think I like it to be excellence, right? I'm trying to achieve excellence in every aspect of my life, all right? Everything I get involved with, everything that I am, is to reach a level of, call it excellence.
Okay.
And I also, just from like surveying, talking to people and so on, people have a desire to be excellent and to be at their personal best. The know-how is not there. They don't know how to do that, how to systematically do that. So I have, and I try to share with people that there are ways to actually keep improving over the years and keep going, getting better and better and better. Like I think right now I'm actually better overall than I was when I was a teenager. Physically, mentally, everything, I'm like much better than when I was a teenager. It feels better now than when I was a teenager, actually.
So you're in a good state of mind right now.
Very good state of mind.
Yeah.
So I'm actually trying to create by working with people and exposing them to techniques and so on of how to improve, that they would reach their personal best,
Right.
Pursue excellence. And I think when you do that, then we can create a situation where, like, wisdom, because out of that you develop a wisdom, where you actually do what you know you should be doing for to promote life, to promote everything that's good and virtuous. That's what wisdom is really about.
Right.
And I also am trying to promote an appreciation of beauty, all right, and aesthetics. All right, that's very, very important, that you're able to recognize and feel good about beauty. Right. If you lose that, then you have a major problem. And then there's also love, feeling as though that you're connected with your environment, with people, with whatever, that you're not in opposition, you're not fighting against whatever. But anyway, this is a philosophy in this world where it's like it's very a lot of competition that you're fighting up against and fighting. Yes, from time to time you can do that. You know, you can for as a game. You know, you can compete, but then you can also love your opponent while you're fighting him. You know, well, not fighting him while you're competing against him. You can actually have an admiration and a kind of compassion for your opponent, right?
Right.
And that's what love is about. You know, so it's feeling that kind of connection. That okay, he is in a similar position that I am in.
Okay.
And just recognizing that, you can actually feel something positive for that person, even though you may be competing, you may be on different sides and that kind of stuff. You can still feel that connection. And those are the things I'm actually I'm promoting in around me, my world, and so on and so forth. You know, this wisdom, beauty, love. Just promote those ideas. You know, and that's what I'm about, really.
Right. Before we go, let people know how they can get in contact with you. Social media, website, telephone number.
Yes. All right. Again, I go as Ra. My name is Anthony Worrell. So you would hear A.L. Worrell. And you can reach me at 212-561-0431. Okay, that's 212-561-0431. I also have my email is a.l.worrell, it's WORRELL, at hotmail.com. And if you want to get more information and even order some of these brands here, which is the Nutrilite and the XS brand, you can go to Amway, AMWAY.com /Theta. That's THETA. So that's Amway.com /Theta. And you can actually get to find out more about these products, and actually you can order them. Yeah.
Facebook,
Instagram,
Snapchat.
All right. So on Facebook is this is Anthony Worrell. I'm actually based here in Brooklyn, New York. Maybe other Anthony Worrells around, but I'm here in. So that's by location, you probably identify me there.
Right.
And so this is Anthony Worrell.
And you're on Instagram as well?
Instagram, I have a presence there. It's
just don't use it. You have an account. Just don't use it as much.
Yes, that is very much.
Okay,
yes.
okay. All right. Well, you hear from the man himself, Anthony Worrell. It's been a pleasure having you on the show today.
So pleasure is mine.
All right. Hopefully, we'll see you in the future on the show again. Once again,
I'd be happy to be here again and share some of my ideas and so on with the audience.
All right. Well, that wraps up another episode of Face to Face. Yours truly, Nesta Cann. We're out of here.